Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, this is just me being kinda lazy, but I wanted to get all of Season 1 into one collection. This is also just another excuse for me to buy time for the next video, so I hope you enjoy. Guard patrol walking by in very futuristic looking armor. Adam didn't bother to hide as he thought they were US Army remnants, but their armor had this weird insignia on it with a cog. The soldiers escorted Adam as like a prisoner to a camp where they came across a dude named Elder Code. Elder Code questioned Adam for a good hour, questioning him if he's a part of the Enclave. Where did he come from? After he found out he's not a part of the Enclave, Elder Code explained how the Enclave wiped out most of the Brotherhood of Steel, and that they are the only things left of what the Brotherhood used to be. Adam offered his assistance to the Elder, as he has experience as a medic at his old vault. The Elder reluctantly allowed him to join the Brotherhood. With Adam's expertise in construction and medicine, he was a great addition to the Brotherhood team as they lacked both. The Brotherhood team constructed a storage shed for all of the necessary resources and even food. They began planting soil and plants, as well as making a gravel road around the camp of the Brotherhood of Steel to make traversing it even more easier. Adam began planting rice in the new field. Days in, they began construction on a dining hall for all of the soldiers to relax and eat their food in. A Enclave scout arrived in the plains, searching for a possible location to start a new base, but they came across the Brotherhood, and with our might and weaponry we were able to put down the Enclave scum. We had some ghouls enter the map looking to trade with us, though we will be seeing them again, but not in the best shape. I actually began making the faction in the Empires mod by making them militaristic and feudal, I believe, to make our faction really strong. Adam began digging out a little barracks area for the Brotherhood of Steel soldiers, though Adam will still have to sleep outside as the soldiers still do not trust him too much. Despite how much we hate ghouls, we decided to go out and trade with the ghoul, though there's nothing we could buy, so we sold him our drugs that we were never going to use. And then we might see these ghouls again later on in the video. Elder Code decided to be generous and bought a helmet for Adam as a repayment for how much help he has done so far. I thought by deconstructing these ruins I would get some resources from it, but I got absolutely zero. Wood is a scarce resource on this map. I decided to build a stone cutting table so we could build our buildings out of something other than wood, as that's pretty scarce right now. Later on, I actually found the ghouls dead in a cave next to a destroyed insect hive, but the insects were nowhere to be found as there was no dead bodies around the hive. One of the ghouls dropped a Watt's laser rifle, so I had Adam equip it since he was only using a rusty pipe to fight our enemies, which is not very effective when they have guns. I had found the insects from that hive wandering around stealing our food, so we killed one, but that seemed to have attracted the rest of the hive as multiple insects started attacking our base, though no match for our laser weapons that penetrated their hard shell. We had a raid from an inferior tribesperson attack us, so we lined up outside and completely demolished the poor kid. We started flooring our dining hall, as it's probably not very pleasant to eat on a dirt floor. What a moment of Adam laying in a pool, relaxing before we got attacked. Since wood is a scarce resource, I started planting timber corn around our camp as we need as much wood as we can because we're running off wind power and wood fuel generator. We had a pigskin named Malpoig join us. She was an aspiring cook, but that's about as much as I can say about her. Adam dug out a new room for Elder Code so he can finally have his own room in his old bedroom. Elder Code thought it'd be the perfect time to make Adam an initiate into the Brotherhood of Steel. Though visitors from the surrounding area heard this speech and were motivated and decided to claim a plot of land in our name and become a part of the Brotherhood of Steel. Soon later, those people did actually claim a plot of land for us, and they were nearby a hostile outpost, which means they can push out our enemies nearby. We began making a research room for our scribes to enter and start researching on some new projects to build more things as well as craft more things. The only person qualified to do the research is Private Jazz, because we don't have any scribes yet, so we're using her to research for us until we find the right person to be our scribe. We had a raid from a bunch of wasters show up, though most of them were under-equipped to take on the full might of the Brotherhood of Steel, as they quickly fell beneath our knees. They tried to melee us, even though we were wearing heavy armor and were able to overcome this small obstacle. I asked to assassinate someone, but my only argument against it was they're on the other side of the map and I don't really want to assassinate people right now. We had our first taxes from our settlement shop, and right after they showed up, a bunch of Muffalo went mad, so we had to put them down. Moi Pig has been living on the floor of our kitchen for a while, so we had to build her a room next to Elder Code, as we can't have that. And in the middle of that, Private Jazz fell in love with Lieutenant Yuri. We had an armorer asking us for money, and we decided to accept, as we need as much armor as we can, and also we wanted to see what he would make, though I think he was an Enclave spy. We expanded the dining hall as there was no place to really put a butcher's table at all during that. So, and we needed more places for seats as we were getting really big. Elder Code fell in love with Moi Pig. To my dismay, I did not know that would happen. The armor from that armor finally arrived and had an Enclave insignia on the armor, which made me think he was an Enclave sympathizer. We began digging out a production room so we can start producing our own armor rather than relying on Enclave sympathizers to make us some armor. For the final thing in this video, we began constructing a wall south of our camp to funnel the enemies into less places that we have weak spots in. A day later, we actually finished construction, and that will be the end of this video's topic. Thank you for watching. Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Rimworld Brotherhood of Steel. To start off this episode, we were raided by two groups of raiders. We sent out a team to sort out one of the groups of raiders to make the main attack force smaller, way easier to deal with, though I feel like I was underestimating our soldiers and their capabilities. After a bit, we did eventually manage to clear out the first group of raiders, and then we met the second group in our cave, and easily gunned down the tribal raiders. Now we were having power problems after that raid, as we decided to build lots more lights, meaning it was more strain on our grid. Elder of Code was not liking how ununiformed our soldiers had become, so we began planting cotton to at least get some form of uniform between the Brotherhood of Steel soldiers. We had a raid from advanced pirates this time, even though they had scrap weapons and clubs, but we decided to test out our military might. Not really much might at the moment, though they were served as a great distraction for our soldiers to gun down the pirates. We had an event come up in one of our settlements that a drug trade had been set up. Now, as the Brotherhood of Steel would, we decided to show some authority and shut down that drug trade. We had our first shipment of silver from our settlements arriving. We actually had recruited a prisoner we had named Pyrotuf. If you didn't know, Pyrotuf is Elder Code's son. Yuri and Jazz were celebrating their marriage in the dining hall while Adam built a fireplace to stop us from freezing while the marriage was happening. Something that completely slipped my mind was that the Brotherhood of Steel power armor soldiers, they don't really have much ranks other than like Knight, Paladin and stuff. So I decided to fix up Knight Yuri's role. We had our first Brotherhood of Steel scouts into the area to help deal with some mechanoids in the area that are stopping traders from entering our base. We had a fellow named Ignat fall out of the sky, but we decided to take him in as he is probably the best shooting out of anyone in our colony. After one inspired recruitment, Ignat came out in his proper scout attire with his sniper. As he is probably the best shooting out of anyone in our colony, it was only fitting for him to put some scout armor on. I actually began building some barracks around the base, so we were getting a bit tight for sleeping areas inside of the mountain. We actually began fencing in our generator area, as it has been target of many raider attacks. Also, it looks better with the fence around it. We also began expanding the path around our base for faster movement around. We had a raid arrive from these tribals, but they're way too uniformed to be regular old tribals. It appears these guys are the Caesar's Legion. We ran out to the field to meet them, stop them from entering through the cave. One of them ran around to fight Elder Code, but eventually they were downed. With one guy left, we just decided to rush him and down him. We took that person prisoner as they would make a perfect member. But they were wavering loyalty to the Caesar's Legion, so we sent them off to summon. Elder Code actually bought a plasma pistol from a trader that walked by. Since winter was approaching, a lot of our rooms get really cold in winter. So we put a bunch of fireplaces everywhere. We had a bunch of scavengers show up to trade with us, which they all had their very cool looking outfits. This is probably the first time I had actually experienced snow in Rimworld, as I tend to play around deserts and or like very temperate places. I decided to go for a very cold spot to start my first Fallout series. We had a green vol combo trader arrive, but just as they do, we got word that a moonlight ritual was happening, so we intervened. Something I have been noticing is our colonists keep running to this pond to lay in it, but since it's so cold we can't really do much. I kinda wanted to show you guys the process of creating these massive squads to have defend your colony. It's, in my opinion, quite fun to do. I don't know about you guys. Just let me know in the comments if you don't like this. We had a wanderer walk in named Cole. They were a dirt mole that had a great shot. I felt a bit cocky, so I decided to go test out our military might against some raiders, though it did not go my way. But we did send our strongest soldiers as well as our strongest squads from our nearest settlements to fight this raider camp. And you'll see soon, shortly, what happened to our entire attack force. After a while, we did get to the raider camp, but we hid behind a mountain and radioed in to our soldiers to move in and attack these filthy scum. Though they were quite advanced for raiders. After a good hour, our soldiers had arrived to attack the raider camp. They began gathering near us before they eventually moved in on these filthy scum. The fight was going pretty well until our soldiers alerted the entire camp to our presence. We began getting swarmed. With our advanced weaponry and armor, we're no match for swarm attacks, as eventually we will fall further. Knight Yuri ordered all forces to retreat and return the base. The enemy raiders gave chase to us, and we left, severely injured, with our egos bruised. A wounded animal came into one of our summons, but I've been playing for long enough to know that's just gonna get us hurt. That have to be the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed, like and subscribe. I'll see you again pretty soon, because I've already recorded most of the next videos, which I hope you will enjoy.